So this is what you're going to need to make your planner inserts. You actually don't need to have the lamination if you are not going to laminate them, and also you don't really need one of the 3-hole punches or the arc hole punch. You can actually use a regular hole punch, and I will show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is cut out the inserts and the planner clips. If you really don't feel like cutting and you happen to have a Silhouette machine, you can go up on the blog and download the Silhouette files, which will make life a little bit easier. But I wanted to show everybody today that you don't have to have a cutting machine to actually make any of the files that I provide. I always try to do things that are easy to cut. You would never see me cutting anything complicated, believe me. I'm not the best person to use scissors. So let's go ahead now, and instead of you watching me cut, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, and let's pretend that I already have everything ready to go. And it's like magic. Ready? Ta-da! See, it's like magic. Everything's all cut out for me. Now, to do this, you are going to need your E6000 glue. You can use other types of glue, but I do like the E6000. I think it dries really nicely. You are also going to need some paper clips and your hole punch, and you're actually pretty much done with the scissors unless you need to trim. So I'm going to keep mine around because I always need to trim. And ta-da, there's more magic. Here is a notebook. I like to always glue on top of a notebook or some scrap paper so that I don't get the glue everywhere. The E6000 is a great glue, but it can be a little bit messy. And I'm working on one of my most prized possessions, which is my Pottery Barn table. And I really don't think my husband would be very happy with me if I suddenly came to him because I got glue all over our table. So all I'm going to do is go around the edges with just a little bit of glue because I'm going to be laminating it. Now if you're not going to be laminating yours, you can put a little bit more glue than what I'm doing. Then you're going to take your other piece, which would be your back, and you are going to, as carefully as you can, place it on top of the front. Now they may not always match up perfectly, and that's why I keep my scissors so I can go around and trim a little bit if I need to. So as you can see, I'm just going to carefully line them up. Then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to go around the edges and make sure that it is nice and secure. Now I'm going to move on to my planner clips. I'm going to show you what I would do if I was not laminating them. If I was not laminating my planner clips, I would put a little bit of glue on both sides. I would stick my clip in the middle. I would make sure that there was glue all the way around my planner clip. Then I would go ahead and I would take my other side and I would match them up best that I can. I would make sure I actually get the paper clip in the middle. It's really slippery, it can be hard. And then I would push it together and I would actually put it underneath of a book just to make sure that it was secure, and then wait enough time for it to dry and then it would be ready to go. But for me today, I'm going to be laminating my planner clips. And now to do that, you actually have to laminate them separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my machine and I'm going to get all. So I have my lamination sheet. I have a laminator by Scotch that I love. I have it up on my blog if you want to check it out. I'm going to go ahead and put my insert that is double-sided, if you remember. I'm going to put it right there along the edge. Now here's my little trick. I don't want my little guys to be moving around because the last thing I need is for my avocado and bacon to suddenly get melded together, or even worse, the avocado and the ice cream. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue on the bottom of each piece and I'm going to stick it on the lamination. Because we are going to make this double-sided, we're going to glue them together, it's really not going to matter if any of the glue shows up in the lamination on the other side. So we'll just put a little dab on each piece, make sure that they are separated enough that there's enough room for the lamination to adhere to each other. If I had them all bunched together really close, then the lamination would not seal. So I will go ahead now and close up my laminating sheet. If you do not have one of these, by the way, watch close to Christmas time, Black Friday deals, or just the countdown to Christmas deals. You can get these things for like next to nothing. I think my husband bought me my laminator for like 15 bucks, 17 bucks, something like that. And I'm telling you, you're going to want to laminate everything. It's awesome. So I will go ahead and run this through the laminator. I'll speed this up. Now when you laminate, just make sure you do not go too close to the edge. As you can see here, I kind of go a little too close to the edge and I'm not right in the middle, so it kind of gets a little scrunched up on the side. It's still going to laminate just fine, thankfully, because it's not a large sheet. So it's going to go right through, but just be very careful when you put your lamination in that you don't do what I just did. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut around my lamination. I zoomed out a little bit so that you'd be able to see kind of the next thing that I'm going to be doing. So again, let me speed it up so you don't have to watch me. Now I'm ready to go ahead and hole punch. I just recently bought this hole punch. I was finding the Mambi one wasn't going through the lamination, so I went ahead and spent a little bit. It was a little bit of a splurge that I could have one that would go through the lamination. I do have it up on my blog if you want to see which one it is. So now what I'm going to do is show you. I just punched it and I can just go ahead and stick it right into my planner. Make sure when you go to do this you don't do what I did, and make sure it is lined up a little better. I wasn't really paying attention and forgot that I wanted it to just stick out just enough so you could see menu at the top. So I will have to actually remake this one, but for now I'll show you because it still works perfectly inside of the planner. And there you go. So now you have an insert. You can use a dry erase marker on it, and you can take it in and out and move it wherever you need to. And if you want, you can even pull it out and take it to the store with you to go shopping. And if you don't have a laminator, you can go ahead and just print one out every single week if you'd like, and then that way you can put it inside of your planner, and you don't even have to have a tab sticking out. So that way you can keep it in there and kind of remember what you've planned for your meals and go back and say, oh man, I'm really looking for something to eat. What's another idea? And go back and look through your old ones. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut out my planner clips. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video so that you don't have to watch. Now I will use a notebook again like I did last time to make sure I don't get glue all over my table. And what I'm going to do is just take a nice layer of glue and put it around. I want to make sure that it sticks, but I don't want it like oozing out all over the place either, because that would be a big giant mess. So then I go ahead and take a clip. I'm going to use the bigger paper clip for my avocado because he's kind of a large guy. Then I will go ahead and put the top on, and I should have probably put a little bit of glue on before I put it down, so I'm going to try to squeeze a little bit inside so that way it all sticks together. So yeah, let me just put a little bit in here. Okay. And then I'll put the paper clip in, and then we'll move on to the next one. So let me go ahead and speed that up. Now, when you're finished with each clip and gluing it together, you just want to push the two sides together really well. Make sure that they are lined up. I can go around and I can trim around my planner clips to make sure that there's not like one really overlapping the other. With the lamination, that makes it a little bit harder. It's actually easier with the paper to trim it. So I'm going to go ahead and get each of my clips done. Get our little ice cream guy. Obviously, I'm not really working this fast. I sped up the video so that way you could follow along a little bit easier. Then when I'm all done, what I'll actually do, I like to put them with a piece of paper on top and then put something heavy on top. That way they can dry and get kind of pushed down together, get a little bit smushed. Now I'm going to move on and show you how I use a single hole punch and scissors to make my planner inserts. Now I'm going to just use an old one. I don't like wasting paper. So this is one of the ones I've done previously, and I'm going to go ahead and work on the other side. So what you would do is just like normal, you would print it, cut it, everything would be the same. But as you can see, I have holes along the sides. So all I need to do is take it in my planner. I'm going to use a pencil, which I always prefer to use a pencil when I'm working with my planner because I can erase. Now I'm going to work on the other side. As you can see, it does fit in here, but I don't want to use the same lines because that'd be a little bit confusing to show you. So let's work with the blank side, and I match it up to where I want it to go. I want the flamingo's heads to stick out a little bit. Then I just take my pencil and I mark a line where every single one of the discs are down the entire page. I go through the whole page. Then I will take a hole punch, and I will hole punch in the center of each of those. So I'll go down the line, I'll punch the center. I go in just a little bit. I don't go in a ton, but just enough that you want to make sure that it actually has some space for it to hook onto the disc. Then I take my scissors and I just cut down into the middle of each one of the holes. Go right down the center. Oh, I missed one. So let's go back and fix that one. Okay, then now you will see that it easily fits into my planner. And I did not use a hole punch that was meant for the Happy Planner. It's actually a lot easier than I think most people realize. And that's it for today. Now, there are a lot of different inserts already up on the blog that are free and ready for you to print. I've got unicorns. I have my personal favorite sauce, which you guys I think know by now that I love. And stay tuned for more planner how-to videos.